In Southeast Asia, journalist Madia is investigating a local gang. Her husband Naveen calls her to ask her to come home, worried about her safety. However, Madia hangs up because she has a lead. In an abandoned building, Madia follows the sound of a child crying to a hole in the wall and she's disturbed by what she sees. At the same time, a guard watches the security cameras, which reveal that the kids are being used for naughty purposes. Madia bursts into the room and punches the criminal to rescue the child, so the guard calls for backup. When they try to escape, some thugs arrive to stop them. At first Madia dodges them, but they keep coming after her, so she has no choice but to fight. She shows remarkable combat skills and also fights dirty when needed, like inserting a thumb into a guy's eye. While she fights, the kid keeps running but finds a way blocked by gang leader Pak Wan and his right-hand Tak, who fires an arrow that instantly kills the child. Pak Wan blames Madia for this death and orders Tak to capture her for interrogation, so the bow is aimed at her next. Months later, new handyman Wang Wei is working at a restaurant with his daughter Rainy, who records everything for social media but also helps by handing him the tools. When they're done, Rainy notices that some clients are harassing the owner, who is just a sweet old lady. Rainy thinks they should help her, but Wang Wei says it's not their business to intervene. Rainy is going back to China soon to live with her grandmother. However, she's worried about her dad and wonders if she should stay. Wang Wei turns down the idea. In the evening, Madia's husband Naveen meets with Lu To and says he has 30 interested buyers. Naveen gives Lu To some money, requesting a meeting with his boss. Afterward, Naveen goes to his van and removes the hidden camera from his shirt to check the footage, which he compares to Madia's intel. Meanwhile, Rainy is practicing kung fu on a dummy her father made. Wang Wei watches the news and learns that Madia is missing, which reporters connect to the high amount of missing children lately. When Rainy accidentally gets hurt during training, Wang Wei rushes to check on her, but she pushes him off and goes to her room. The next day they go to the hairdresser and Wang Wei insists that Rainy should cut her hair short so it won't get in the way of training. Rainy doesn't want to because other kids already think she's a tomboy and explains she doesn't even like kung fu, she only practices to spend time with him. She asks her dad to go back to China with her, but Wang Wei refuses. A furious Rainy says her father never loved her and runs out of the shop. Down the road, Rainy bumps into a limping boy. He says that his sister was hit by a car and his parents aren't home, so he needs help. Rainy quickly follows him, but this is a trap. Lu To and Ho jump on her to capture her in a bag. They knock her out before throwing her on the back of a truck. When Wang Wei comes looking for his daughter, he sees the truck leaving. To catch up, he runs through a building and a fence, showing impressive speed. Soon he's jumping into the cabin and messing with the controls to make the truck stop. He also grabs the key to throw it away before Ho pushes him off. The men then start fighting, brutally grabbing each other as Wang Wei keeps trying to return to the truck and Ho keeps stopping him. Lu To joins the fight by kicking Wang Wei, who is then dragged inside a building. While the driver looks for the key, Wang Wei fights both men at the same time. He almost captures Lu To, who grabs a tool to hit Wang Wei and free himself. This creates an opening for Wang Wei to run outside and jump on the back of a truck to look for Rainy. The driver couldn't find the key, so he tries to hotwire the vehicle. Lu To also jumps on the truck and throws trash on Wang Wei before they start fighting again. It only takes a few moves for Wang Wei to bring Lu To, and soon he's searching the bags once more. Unfortunately, when he finally finds Rainy, Lu To drags him back by the leg. Wang Wei manages to kick him off the truck, but Lu To is replaced by Ho, who smashes a cement cube on Wang Wei's body. Another combat begins and Ho corners Wang Wei against the railing. At that moment the driver finally starts the truck, so Ho throws Wang Wei off before they take off, only pausing to pick up Lu To. A desperate Wang Wei runs after the truck, losing his shoes on the way and hurting his feet on broken glass. Rainy wakes up and tries calling for him, only to accidentally push the railing off and slide down the edge. Ho grabs her ankles to rescue her and Rainy tries to fight back, so Ho puts her head too close to the ground as a threat. He only brings her back up when a car drives too close to the truck. As the vehicle speeds up, so does Wang Wei. Unfortunately, he's run over by a car and loses sight of the gang. Afterward, Wang Wei goes to the police station and pushes the line off to start writing down the incident for the cops. The receptionist asks him to calm down and Wang Wei slams the counter, saying there's no time. Sergeant Yadong tries to take his case, but the chief interrupts her, saying they must follow protocol. On his way out, Wang Wei notices all the missing children's signs. Later, Yadong tries to look up Wang Wei in the system, but she can't find anything about him. At home, Wang Wei takes care of his wounds while thinking about Rainy. Determined to help her, he packs some tools in a bag and dresses in black before leaving the house to investigate. His first clue is a ticket he saw on the truck with a tiger logo. This tiger appears outside a nightclub where people can bet on illegal fights. Wang Wei sees Lu To bring Naveen into the club and decides to follow them. On the upper floor, Ho pats Naveen down to check her weapons before allowing him to meet with Mr. Song. Recording everything with a hidden camera, Naveen pretends he wants to rent 30 kids for the weekend and says he wants to choose them himself. Song immediately becomes suspicious and grabs Naveen to demand an explanation, but Naveen stays cool and says he's just a messenger for a powerful man. Song falls for it and agrees to take Naveen to his hideout. When Wang Wei tries to sneak into the upper floor, two bouncers stop him. Lu Tou sees him and throws away his hat while telling him to leave. Wang Wei shows him a picture of Rainy to ask about her, but Lu Tou just laughs, so Wang Wei decides to attack. In just a few moves, he overpowers Lu Tou and holds him by the neck while showing him the picture. The bouncers jump on him to free Lu Tou, who tries fighting him again. Now Wang Wei has 3 enemies to deal with. He gets rid of the bouncers pretty quickly and kicks Lu Tou in the ribs to bring him down before asking about Rainy again. Lu Tou hits him with a bottle and jumps over the balcony to hide among the crowd watching the fight. He finds a microphone and points at Wang Wei as he announces that he has a gun, causing the crowd to run away in panic. He also asks the gang to kill Wang Wei, promising to pay them well. A shower of bottles is thrown at Wang Wei, who hides behind the railing for protection. The gang goes after him, yet he doesn't hesitate to fight them all together, easily getting them off his back with his amazing kung fu skills. A terrified Lu Tou tries to run away and lands in a cage, but before he can escape, Wang Wei grabs him by the legs and brings him down. Before he can react, the two fighters kick Wang Wei, allowing Lu Tou to get out. The gang surrounds the cage to watch the combat, but not even professional fighters can bring Wang Wei down. When another man tries to join the fight, Wang Wei pulls out a hammer and smashes his bottle before bringing him down with devastating hits. The fighters now have to step on broken glass, which allows Wang Wei to easily defeat them with the hammer. More and more gangsters enter the cage, desperate for that reward, yet Wang Wei has no issues beating them all up. When Lu Tou tries to escape, Wang Wei throws the hammer at his head and tackles him to fight him again. He corners him on the stairs and tries to choke him, but more men jump on Wang Wei and allow Lu Tou to run. At the same time, a thug runs to alert Song, who thinks Naveen is behind this. Song orders his men to kill Naveen and escapes through the back door. The gang thinks they have it easy, but Naveen surprises them with fast fighting moves. As soon as he has an opening, he runs out of the room, and the thugs follow him. Soon Naveen reaches the lower floor and has to defend himself against the men there. Lu Tou bumps into him as he tries to escape and Naveen throws him into the cage. Wang Wei sees Naveen knock out the last thug and run away, so he follows him. In the security room, Naveen connects a USB stick to the computer and starts downloading all the security camera footage. Suddenly Wang Wei grabs him from behind and throws him through the window, starting another fight. Since they're both such talented warriors, they can't gain the upper hand and all their moves keep getting countered. When Wang Wei takes off his jacket, Rainy's picture falls off and Naveen realizes this is just a worried father. He explains they're on the same side, so they grab the USB stick and run away together. Later in the hideout, Song beats Lu Tou up for bringing a rat to the club. Then he calls the limping boy, revealing that he's Lu Tou's kid. Song orders his men to kill Lu Tou while his son watches. Afterward, the limping boy is thrown into the basement with the other kids. Rainy yells at him for tricking her, but the boy says she's the stupid one for faking being nice. A furious Rainy jumps on him and tries to beat him up, so the henchmen have to come down to separate them. Rainy tries to use this chance to run away, but she's easily knocked down. In the van, Wang Wei and Naveen watch the footage together while Naveen shares the details of the investigation. Song picked up Ho when he was just a boy and threw him into the ring between rounds as a joke. He's the biggest human trafficker in the city and Madia had been gathering evidence to bring him down. Wang Wei looks at Madia's pictures and notices the same truck in all of them. So Naveen looks for the truck in the footage and discovers it's for ice delivery. The insulation makes it completely soundproof, so it's perfect to hide the kids. In the morning, the duo reaches the ice factory and splits to cover more ground. Wang Wei goes through the front door and immediately starts fighting all the employees who try to stop him. As he makes his way down the corridor, he continues to bring down any thug in his way, but suddenly Song appears on the stairs and opens fire, so Wang Wei is forced to take cover. At the same time, Naveen sneaks inside through the back door. When he reaches the freezer, he's shocked to find men dead inside ice blocks, including Lu Tou. At that moment, he's tackled by Ho, triggering another fight. They move all over the room as they try to beat each other up without much success. Wang Wei ends up entering the same room, so when Song follows him, he opens fire at Naveen too. Both Wang Wei and Naveen hide behind the ice blocks and make a plan. Naveen runs to keep Song distracted while Wang Wei jumps on a chain to get closer. Then he breaks an ice block to throw the pieces at the enemy. When Song turns toward Wang Wei, Naveen throws 2 metal boxes to knock him out. After finding a big hammer, Ho returns to fight, so Wang Wei and Naveen confront him together. In the struggle, the hammer destroys an ice block with a person inside. Thanks to his size, Ho puts up quite a challenge, but the heroes quickly get used to combining their attacks and finally bring him down by throwing metal boxes on him. To their surprise, Ho stands up and fights them again. More body icicles are destroyed and Wang Wei ends up falling into the basement. The kids are already gone, but he's horrified to find Rainy's bloodstained jacket. While Wang Wei has a breakdown, Naveen receives a devastating blow from the hammer. When Ho is about to finish him, Wang Wei returns for revenge. After exchanging a few moves, Wang Wei steals the hammer and hits Ho in the head to knock him down. Overwhelmed with anger and grief, he continues to punch Ho in the face until Naveen pulls him away. Then Wang Wei grabs the gun and tries to shoot Song, But Naveen stops him again because they need to interrogate him and Rainey may still be alive. They tie Sean up to an electric fence and electrocute him over and over, trying to make him talk. Wang Wei is taking it too far so Naveen stops him, since they need him awake. However, when Sean implies that Madia may be dead, Naveen gets angry and tortures him until Sean pees his pants. This time Wang Wei stops him and Sean mentions a place called Snake Pit. Meanwhile, Pak Lung is keeping his pregnant wife company during a checkup. At that moment he gets a call from the police chief who tells him about the incidents. Moments later, Pak Lung is assuring his investors that they haven't lost anything of value and that he'll pay for any expenses. In the evening, Song leaves the factory while calling a friend to arrange a trip to cross the border. However, he's knocked down by an arrow to the leg before getting surrounded by Tak and Pak Lung. At the Snake Pit, the kids are locked up in a cell. Rainey climbs some boxes and tries to pull the window bars to no avail. The limping boy scolds her for constantly talking about home, revealing that Song killed his whole family. Rainey promises to free him too before she notices a small electric box, so she uses a coin to open it. She pulls off the lid and starts sanding the bars, but she's interrupted by a thug looking for her. Rainey cuts his arm and face with the metal lid before kicking him down. Then she makes all the kids run out of the cell with her, ignoring the limping boy's warnings. Unfortunately, the henchmen immediately surround the kids and recapture them to throw them back in the cell. Only Rainey manages to run fast enough. Outside, Wang Wei and Naveen find an ice truck near a building with a snake logo. They decide to enter the alley on the side to look for a back door and Naveen starts screaming from Madia's account to tell the world about the snake pit and Madia's discoveries. At the police station, Yadong watches the footage of Wang Wei beating out the thug. In a corridor, Rainey almost makes it out, but the gang surrounds her and knocks her down. Yet Rainey stands up with a determined look, refusing to surrender. At that moment Wang Wei and Naveen find them and quickly beat the henchmen up. Rainey runs to hug her father and cries as she apologizes. When the men try to leave, Rainey stops them and asks them to rescue the other kids too. Naveen agrees to do it and tells Wang Wei to take Rainey home. On the street, a crowd is already gathering and the police soon arrive too. Yadong is ready to rescue the kids but the chief stops her, claiming that they don't have a reason to act. When a bunch of henchmen appear on the street, the chief opens the way for them. In the alley, Wang Wei watches the backup arrive. He worries about Naveen and the kids, but when Rainey pulls at his jacket, he remembers his priorities and they escape on a bike. On the upper floor, Naveen releases the kids from the cell. When the gang comes after them, they hide in another room and close the door just in time. Suddenly an engine can be heard. It's Wang Wei on the bike, driving through the corridor to bring the men down. Rainey has a stick and hits a bunch of thugs too. Naveen comes out of the room with a chain and joins the fight, going against a bunch of men on his own while Wang Wei and Rainey work together. In just a few minutes, the gang has been defeated. Rainey brings the kids out of the room but notices that some of them are missing. The group runs to the cell to find the rest of the children and free them as well. Unfortunately, the thugs come back for more, so Naveen and Wang Wei block them in the hallway as the kids run upstairs. While the men continue to fight, the limping boy finds some sheets and the children tie them together to throw them out the window. The crowd outside goes crazy when they see a bunch of kids dangerously climbing down using the bed sheets and everyone starts taking pictures while calling the cops out for doing nothing. Yadong wants to help yet the chief stops her, asking the other cops to arrest her. However, the other officers snap and decide to support Yadong, so they run into the building together. Without the police blocking the street, the crowd rushes to the bed sheets and helps the kids come down. The limping boy holds the sheets while everyone goes down and eventually Rainey is the only one left. As she climbs down, the bed sheets suddenly break and she starts falling, but the crowd catches her on a blanket. On the stairs, Wang Wei and Naveen continue to fight the gang, brutally beating them up with random objects. At first their skills are enough to keep the area protected, but more and more men keep arriving and it's getting hard to keep the stairs blocked. At that moment, the cops burst in and shoot a few thugs down, causing the others to surrender. At the same time a man appears on the window to try to capture the limping boy, but he's shot by Yadong. Moments later, many journalists are covering the chaos on the street. When Naveen asks Yadong if they found Madia during their search, she says no. After seeing the news, Pak Lung meets with his investors, including his father-in-law and the police chief. These old men had money in the club and the factory but they didn't know about the dirty businesses happening in the back. His father-in-law wants Pak Lung to be arrested so he can save face. When a man calls him trouble and points his finger at him, Pak Lung bites it until he chops it off. Then he smashes a bottle on the guy's head. The others immediately protest, but Pak Lung doesn't stop. He kills them one by one and even murders the chief by stabbing him with a broken ball. His father-in-law tries to attack him with a katana, but Pak Lung easily disarms him and hits him a few times before killing him with his own sword. Soon bodyguards rush into the room and Pak Lung waves the sword to kill them all, not really stopping to look at their faces. In the chaos, he ends up stabbing his wife's pregnant belly too. As she drops dead on the floor, Pak Lung screams in agony. In the factory, Ho wakes up alone. He goes outside and is horrified to find a dead Song pinned to a truck by dozens of arrows, causing him to have a breakdown. At the police station, dozens of parents reunite with their children. Yadong tells Wang Wei that she'll testify that he acted in self-defense, but she can't release him until he's granted bail, so they'll have to wait until morning. She promises to take care of Rainey until then. In the cell, Naveen thanks Wang Wei for his help and shares that his last conversation with Madia was an argument, so he wishes he could apologize to her. Suddenly Tak enters the station and starts killing cops with his bow. When the power goes out, only the emergency lights are left. An officer goes to check on the breaker box and is shocked to find his co-workers' bodies. Tak quickly slashes him a few times with his blades before killing him with an arrow. As more and more cops show up, Tak is forced to fight them hand to hand, but he's good in combat too. In the cell, the guys hear a gunshot, so they try to reach for the keys that an officer dropped. In the office, Yadong tells Rainey and the limping boy to wait while she investigates. She finds Tak in the lobby and points her gun at him, yet Tak hits her with an arrow anyway. At that moment Pak Lung comes in and kicks her down. When Pak Lung and Tak find the cell, the heroes are already gone. A furious Pak Lung goes upstairs and finds them rescuing the kids. Tak tries to shoot them but an injured officer grabs his leg to make him fail, so Tak chops off his arm. While Naveen confronts Pak Lung, Wang Wei fights Tak. Both fights show the warrior's talents and it looks like nobody is able to gain the upper hand. In the struggle, an arrow pierces Rainey's leg. The limping boy helps her reach a safe spot and breaks the arrow so she can sit. As the fights make the men move all over the room, they end up exchanging opponents. Pak Lung starts slashing Wang Wei's face but is pushed back when Naveen throws Tak at him. The fight continues with each pair deciding to fight in teams, so they combine attacks and hit whoever is closer. Suddenly Ho arrives and attacks Pak Lung because he wants his revenge for his father, so while they fight Naveen and Wang Wei go after Tak. However the battles keep colliding into each other. Pak Lung mocks Ho for thinking that Song was his father, since Ho is just another kidnapped child. This only angers Ho more and he throws Naveen and Tak to the lower floor. These two fight each other on the desks while Wang Wei and Ho go against Pak Lung together. Naveen fights with office supplies and Tak manages to stab him a few times. When he breaks Tak's bracelet, he's horrified to see Madia's ring fall off. Tak confirms he killed her and taunts him with the ring, so a furious Naveen jumps on him to attack him with all his might. This isn't enough and Tak stabs him again, but with his last breath, Naveen takes back the ring and bites Tak's neck to kill him too. At the same time Pak Lung makes Ho fall on his blade and destroys his eye before beating him up to death. This gives Wang Wei the opening to run Naveen's side and he hears him say I found her before he dies. Afterward Pak Lung grabs Rainey by her head. Wang Wei immediately tackles him and they both fall through the window, landing on a bunch of bicycles that they use to keep attacking each other. Pak Lung tries to choke Wang Wei with a bicycle chain, but Wang Wei steals it and uses it to bring him down. Then he punches Pak Lung several times, not stopping until Rainey asks him to. When Pak Lung tries to attack Rainey, Wang Wei acts as a shield and Pak Lung starts beating him up instead. The limping boy runs to push Pak Lung off, yet the man stands up ready for more. Since Wang Wei is unconscious, the kids hold hands and get ready to fight themselves. Suddenly Pak Lung pukes and tries to walk away, but he ends up dropping dead. A month later, Wang Wei, Yadong, and the kids scatter Naveen's ashes into the sea. Wang Wei hangs a message on the bridge with Naveen's and Madia's rings and names to honor their memories.